Hello, welcome to video number 47 about simplifying square roots. She's back. We have Mrs. MacArthur from freshman year.
Yes,
Hopefully you
hello.
had her. She's here to remind you of how to simplify square roots.
That's right.
So for example, we have square root of 48 here, and we're going to rewrite it as a number times a smaller square root. So down here at the bottom, we have 4 times square root of 3. That's considered simpler because the number inside the square root is smaller. So we're not finding a decimal. We could if we wanted. This is about how to write it as a simpler square root.
Because the decimal is also an approximation, and this is still exact.
This is the real deal. All right. So at first, we just want to talk about a property. Maybe you can underline this property, and it
Or
looks
move
at,
it.
or move it. So what does that say? It says that if we have a square root of a product, we have the square root of a times b, we can break it up into the square root of the first number times the square root of the second. We're going to use that property a lot. So we just want to make sure it's true. So here, if you look, we have square root of 14. 14 is 2 times 7. So square root of 14 is equal to square root of 2 times square root of 7. And voila, magically, I have it here in the calculator to show you. The first line shows square root of 14 is 3.74165737. And guess what square root of 2 times square root of 7 is?
3.74165737.
Exactly. Same thing with square root of 80. 80 is 8 times 10, so we can break it up into the square root of 8 times square root of 10. You can see there, they're both equal to 8.944 or something. And this works for any two numbers. So 4,200 is broken up into 60 and 70. And sure enough, square root of 4,200 equals the square root of 60 times square root of 70.
That's right.
Now, there's a special way of doing this.
Right, so 80 is 8 times 10, but is there another way to break that up?
Yeah, and we're going to find a more useful way. So to do that, we need our perfect squares. So these are going to be our friends.
Perfect squares.
So the first perfect square is 1 squared is 1. So we're just going to listen.
Right there.
2 squared is
4.
Then 3 squared.
9.
Then 16. 5 squared is 25. 6 squared is 36. Come on. Then 49.
And then it goes on and on.
Right. So we're going to use these to simplify square roots. So we're going to show you how to do that. So we're going to break up the square root of 40, but we need to do it in a way that uses a perfect square.
So we could do 2 and 20, but that wouldn't be useful to us because neither 2 nor 20 are perfect squares.
Yeah, so it's true, but we'll show you. It won't help us simplify. So we're going to break this up into 4 and 10. So we're going to write this as the square root of 4 times the square root of 10. Now, Ms. MacArthur, why is that useful?
That is useful because 4 is a perfect square. And when we take the square root of 4, we get a whole number answer, which is 2.
Right.
So it is no longer underneath the square root sign.
Yep, it's free.
It's free. But the 10 is not a perfect square, so it has to stay locked up inside the square root.
So we did it. That's our strategy. We're kind of breaking it up into part we can take a square root of and part we can't.
Exactly.
All right, so we got to use our friends. Now, 4 goes into 48. We're on B. But we can do a little bit better.
Right, and that's the trickiest part about this because a lot of people look and say 4 goes into 48. It does, but
the best is use 16.
Exactly.
So we'll show you another time. If you use 4, it'll be okay. You just have to kind of keep going.
But 16 times 3 gets us that 48. And 16 is a bigger perfect square, so therefore the number that's left inside the square root is smaller, like Mr. Miller was saying. We want it to be as small as possible. Right. Square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 3 stays the square root of 3.
That's the one on the first slide. Okay.
Oh, whoops.
Well, we did it again.
We did it again.
All right, very good. So 27, what perfect square goes into 27? Yeah.
Oh, right.
Well, if a student tried 4, you just go up the list.
Yeah.
27 divided by 4 is a decimal.
No.
27 divided by 9 is 3.
It sure is. Notice that we are putting the perfect square first. It doesn't really matter, but it's very helpful to put the perfect square, that one you're looking for, first, because then that's the one that you can take out of the square root and leave the other part underneath.
Sure. So sometimes you got to watch. Sometimes people accidentally write it backwards, but it's the perfect square one that you take the square root of.
Exactly.
Should we do one deliberately backwards here?
Sure.
All right. So 75 is 3 times 25.
Yeah, just like 3/4, right? So if I could write the square root of 3 times the square root of 25, because 3 times 25 is 75.
So we did it on backwards that time, but you gotta realize 25 is the one we can take the square root of. So it's square root of 3 times 5, which is okay. Normally write the number in front.
Yeah, that would not look like that on a multiple choice test.
Very good.
There we go.
All right, 8. What
8. Wow. 1 goes in, but that's not useful. 4 goes in, so we'll do square root of 4 times the square root of 2. And square root of 4 is 2.
I'm hoping this brings back lots of memories. Okay, 19.
Well, we did do it a little differently last year, but this is, we did a lot of perfect squares. So, square root of 19. So
1 is never helpful.
No.
Because it just gives us the same thing. Square root of 1 times square root of 19.
You're not going to make anything smaller if you divide by 1. So
19 divided by 4?
No.
19 divided by 9?
No.
19 divided by 16?
No. And then after that, all the perfect squares are bigger, so we don't even have to check them. So
guess what? It is simplified, so we're stuck with it. That can't be simplified any further.
That's right.
So that happens. All right, let's see what we have for the journal assignment. So remember to write video 47 in your journal, and you go work on simplifying these. So let's write the perfect squares up top again. You have to click pen.
Oh. Oops. There we go.
So 1, although we never use it. 4.
Do you want to go further than that?
I think that takes care of all the ones that are there.
It's hard for me not to go all the way up to 100. I don't know why. I always want to list them all.
I know. But we only have a few minutes. All right, so good luck. Remember, break it up into the square root of a perfect square times whatever's left. And good luck. We'll see you in class.